Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Greg. Welcome to my home in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm so glad you're here. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Be sure to visit our website, homeworthy.com, to discover amazing furniture, art, accessories, and more, all handpicked by our editors to help transform your house into a home. All of the items are inspired by the episodes you see here on Homeworthy. Enjoy!
Hi, I'm Gregg Irby. We are in my home in Atlanta, Georgia. I live here with my husband, Mike, and then our two children. Our son, Sims, is a senior in college, and our daughter is a junior in college. So they kind of mysteriously come and go when they please. And then we live here with our dog, Jean-Pierre, we call JP, a French bulldog, and our cat, Max. We bought this house in January of 2020. We were not planning on moving. In fact, we were in the middle of a third renovation in our family home that we loved, and most of all, we loved our family neighborhood, just surrounded by lots of close family friends, and it was just a great spot. But Mike and I would often walk by this house. He grew up down the street, and we always said if this house ever came on the market, we would buy it. It's a 1930s English cottage Tudor, and just I always loved the exterior of it. And one Friday afternoon, late afternoon, I was driving by and saw the real estate agent putting the sign out front. And I thought, oh my gosh. And so I called my friend Molly Beery, who sells real estate in Atlanta, and said, Molly, I have to see this house, but we are not moving. So she brought me over on that Saturday morning, first thing, and we put an offer on it that afternoon. I love the outside of the house. When I walked in, I realized that it was going to be a huge renovation project, but it just had great bones, and I love the size of it. Our kids, we were just about to be empty nesters, and I love that it was downsizing some, and just the cottage feel of it. All the rooms were smaller in proportion, but I knew that I could do every inch of the house and not feel overwhelmed. So I really just fell in love with it, and it was in pretty bad shape when I walked in that Saturday morning. So one of my favorite things in all homes are large foyers, but I did not get that in this home. But I had this very small entry, but I wanted to make sure I really made it fun and dramatic. So I started with this grass cloth wallpaper, which I love, by Brie, and it just had great texture and just a great punch. And I found this mirror at the flea markets in Paris and was so happy that it worked here. And then I got this Rococo console, and it had a yellowed marble top, and I found this fun marble top to replace it with. And this is a grandmother's lamp we just put a new lampshade on it. A wedding gift. These are wedding gifts as well. And then art from the gallery by Sarah Comelli. So I love just mixing the old with the new. With this entry being so small, I wanted when people to come in for them to not feel so closed in. So I decided to make this space here, hoping it to be a part of the entry. And this is one of my favorite paintings by Lynn Sanders, a 48 by 60, which I just think works so well in this room. And I found these Biedermeier chairs, which I fell in love with, and they were in great shape. And I just added this C.W. Stockwell animal print to them. And then you'll see in my home, I have a few different areas where I have the dolphin motif, which I love, this dolphin table. And then just things, this was my grandmother's. I remember exactly where it was in her home in Charlotte. And in the bookshelves, it shows a lot of the things that I really love, mixing the old with the new. This is a favorite. These are early 1800 Chinese porcelains from my husband's grandparents. She collected them from H. Moog, which was in Atlanta. It was a mainstay in Atlanta for years. Mixed with these were my great-grandmother's, and wedding gift. The horses I have on both sides of the bookshelves. They were from an antique shop in Rhode Island, where my daughter went to school, and I loved the town. On her graduation weekend, I knew I wanted to get something to remember it by. But again, more things. This is the Chinese porcelain. You'll see that I love anything chinoiserie, and we're just lucky that we were able to receive those from grandparents. I loved mixing the old with the new. So, early 1800 with a collage painting by Erin McIntosh, who's a gallery artist. I've represented her for over 20 years. And then these tortoise handles by Nest Collection, who are here in Atlanta. I think those just add a fun touch to the bookshelves. And all of these cloisonne boxes were collected by a grandparent, so we have those scattered throughout. And some of them you even can open up and see, old buttons that were that she used, or it's kind of neat. I grew up in South Carolina, and my mother was an artist, and my father was an attorney, and just always was surrounded by watching my mother create. But I was more business-minded, like my father. I got my business degree in marketing undergrad, and then went and got my MBA. And when I first started out in Atlanta, I would go around and try to start my own art collection, and I couldn't even afford the little tiny, 8x10 paintings. So I was like, God, there's got to be a way to find artists that I can afford. So I started representing emerging artists, and I'd have shows in my home. And then I decided to take the show on the road, and I'd go to other southeastern cities where my friends lived, and I'd have shows in their homes. And it really grew from there. And I opened up a gallery in 2006, 2007 in Atlanta, and it was open just 2 days a week because my children were young, and I would race home and get home before the school bus arrived, and it just kind of grew with my family, with my life. And now we are at Peachtree Battle Shopping Center, Atlanta, Georgia, just down the street, and we represent about 45 artists from all over the country, a couple of international artists, and we just have a full team, and we're selling art all over the country, and it's been tons of fun. It's been a fun, long, interesting journey. The living room, I decided to start with the paint color, and I fell in love with this Farrow and Ball Pen Noir paint, which is kind of a lavender gray in the estate emulsion, and I painted everything in that: ceiling, trim, walls. So after I chose the Pen Noir color, I decided on two things simultaneously. This painting by Amy Wright, who's an Australian artist who we represent. I loved all her colors and just the surreal genre of the painting. It just adds so much depth to this room, and then I could use all my collected chinoiserie to surround the painting. You'll see that I have probably up to 10 pairs of food dogs in my home. I love food dogs. And the next thing I did is I chose this ferric mason fabric as maybe, my lead fabric in this room. And I've known Alex Mason, who's the founder and designer of Ferric Mason, for years, as I used to represent her as an artist when she painted full time. So it's so fun to have her work here. And a lot of these fabric designers I know personally, which is really neat. It's kind of like having, artist paintings in my home. When I know the artists, I love to know the designers who design their fabrics. Here, just mixing old with new, an old painting that came from great-grandparents with a new painting. And I always just try to find spots for paintings wherever I can, above side tables. And I love this hand-painted side tables that I bought at an antique shop here in Atlanta. And then in this room, what we did is I needed more space in this room, or more seating in this room. So I had this bench built in, and with this Marika Meyer fabric, which I just love. And then it's great because I have great storage under here, which I need in this home. And these are great little Shin toasters by Coley Home. They're just great to pull up, and we've used these lots. So it makes for a good space for entertaining, and we can fit a lot of people in here when we're all together. I love color, art, patterns, and mixing it all up. So it's really just all the things that I really love. And we were lucky that our grandparents left us a lot of their items. So I've sprinkled that around the house, and it's really just everything I love, surrounded by it all. I don't know exactly how I would define my personal style. I just love what I love. And I'm not worried about making it all work together. I do know that I love art, and I love wallpaper, and I love color. And those are kind of the main three things that inspire me. And I usually start there and just see where it takes me. Each room I did by really thinking about the kind of the feeling I wanted to have when I was in that room. And in here, we only come in here like in the evening, sometimes like on the weekend. And it's just fun to kind of come in here and have a drink with another couple or just by ourselves. Just a totally different dramatic room. And this gives you a break. So I'll have like a room that's real peaceful, then one that's dramatic, that's real peaceful, just to kind of have a rest, and just whatever your mood is, you go into that room. And again, that's one of the reasons I love this house, because the rooms are small, and it is, choppy in the way that homes used to be. So I love that, to be able to create different feelings in each room, but they all show my personality, just that I do love color and layering and chinoiserie and art, wallpaper that you'll see throughout every room in the home. And I started with the wallpaper in here, and again, this is by Alex Mason of Ferric Mason. The day she created or released this wallpaper, I fell in love with it, knew I had to have it. And so I used this lacquer Benjamin Moore steamed spinach in here that works really well with the wallpaper. I tried to make sure that all my shades in my home were different custom fabric to make them more interesting. So I love these that were done. And then the sofa is a sleeper sofa, because we lost bedrooms coming to this house, and we need as many beds as we can get. So it is nice that we can pull this out and shut the doors in this room and move this. And these are the most comfortable suede chairs from Moore and Giles. And I wanted overstuffed chairs, club chairs, but every one that I looked at were so heavy, and I need to be able to move them easily. And these are really light, so that's been wonderful. And this is an outdoor porch that we are about to turn into a bedroom, because we need another bedroom. So we're already outgrowing our home with our kids coming home lots and bringing their friends. And in here, this is a portrait of my mother, which I love. And I love kind of mixing that in the room. There's so many colors in this room and this wallpaper everywhere, and you see them all in this Missoni rug that has a little bit of everything in it. I have so much art that I do love that I want to hang it when I possibly can, so I always try to find fun spots for it. So, I have them above the window, these figures above the window, the door on both sides, down here, but it just works well in this space, I think. So in here I used this high gloss Benjamin Moore's Claret, which I just love this color. And I had this old wooden table that I just ended up just painting that the same color. And it works great with the Schuyler Samperton fabric for my window treatments. Come into my powder room and I'll show you a new wallpaper design that I am designing with an artist friend, Nancy V. Westfall. So this is one of the 2 wallpaper collections we have right now, and we have a few more on the horizon. This koi fish, but I think it looks great in here with the vaulted ceiling shower. This is our dining room, and I love our wallpaper, which is a new wallpaper that I've designed with my artist friend Nancy B. Westfall, and it's called Peacock Garden. And we used Farrow & Ball's Borrowed Light as the background for it. It comes in a few colorways. And then my husband, Mike, designed the molding for me. I couldn't figure out exactly what I wanted, and I wanted it to be really unique and work well with this wallpaper. So I was very happy that he did this and worked with our builder to make that happen. And you'll see more of just kind of my chinoiserie that I love. These are some old Italian iron flowers that were passed down to us. I wanted the round table because it just worked in this room that is so square. And this room is really kind of a pass-through in our house, so it really works, scale-wise, it works best. And I'm eventually going to put a tablecloth over it with, my coffee table books, which I'm obsessed with coffee table books and have millions of them, to use this room for more than just a dining room. I love to host dinner parties, so this table has been used a lot. And I have this piece here, which is great to hold all of my china and a lot of my silver. That I also store in my kitchen because there's just not a lot of storage space here. I didn't want to put a huge piece in this room because I just didn't want it to hide the wallpaper. So this works well for me. Lamps that I found in an antique shop and painted the base to work with our wallpaper. And this was a wedding gift from our cousins. So I love pulling this out and using this. So this is just great to just, I keep my pressed linens stored in here, which works well. And then my china plates. So you'll see that my china is the blue and green, which works well with my chairs. And then I do love these sconces were grandparents, these old Italian. They've been shipped and over the years, but they still mean a lot. Those were hanging in Mike's grandmother Irby's home in Atlanta. I love choosing art for my home, and I can't imagine ever letting anyone else choose it for me. It's just so personal, and so it's one of my favorite things to do. And if people ask me if I rotate art in and out, now I could never do that. I mean, I'll rotate, and once I buy a piece, it's mine forever. Sometimes I'll move it around or not use it during a certain time period, but I'll always bring it out. But I just love my art collection, whether they're hanging on the wall or they're under the bed for the time being. So this is our bar, and I started with this rule of 3 wallpaper, which I fell in love with. Design Social Studio here in Atlanta represents rule of 3. She's out of California. And I just think it's just this amazing marble wallpaper. And then once I found that, I used this Stifky blue, and I lacquered the bar in Farrow Stifky blue. And love this around the Moore & Giles leather. This is a little bistro table that I found in flea markets in Paris, which was so fun. And sometimes I'll sit here and have coffee in the morning, or sit here and have a glass of wine while my husband's cooking. But this bar is small, but it is funny when people are here, we all pile in here lots. And again, I love mixing old paintings in with everything. I love these glass blend, colorful glasses. So pretty. Lots of color. So now we'll go into the kitchen from the bar, and this is our very small kitchen. I decided to paint it this Scenic Drive by Benjamin Moore, which I do love. So we tried to renovate this kitchen the best we could, but we realized we've got to make it bigger. We're used to having a big island in our kitchen. So we are about to knock this out and double the size so that we have a large island and just redo it all. But I'm still keeping my green because I love my green. This is an old painting that I got at a little flea market in Italy that I love. We had all these, I hate seeing plugs. And so I got these Forbes and Lomax brass plate covers, which have been so great because I think they're so pretty in themselves. So that's been a nice addition. And then these lamps are from Oka, and these come in different colors. I think these are just the best inventions. I love them, and they happen to work with my green. And this is we were in Sicily, I guess back in like 2019, and this is one of the heads we got from Sicily. So again, just buying things when we travel that remind me of our trips. So we'll head from the bar to the family room. And in here, I actually painted it a neutral color because it needed that. So here I started with, the first thing I want to start with is this tile. I saw something similar to this and looked high and low and found this and just this. So this was kind of the centerpiece of this room. This room is not symmetrical, so it's a real bear to try to figure out how to place furniture. I hate TVs in rooms, and my husband loves them. So that to try to distract from the TV, I had these two paintings commissioned by one of my artists, Kay Floral, out of Colorado. So it really kind of draws your attention to those sides, to the sides of the TV and not straight on it. I love this old Italian dog that we've had since we were married, that was passed down. These are lamps from North Georgia artists that Deering Antiques in Miami Circle sells these. I think these are really special. And I love the Cotton and Tout fabric that Elizabeth Graves chose for me. This one and this chair over there, which normally I would not have chosen, but I think they look great in here. And then mixed in with all these Peter Dunham fabrics that also are nice. This table is from ABC Modern off of First Dibs, and the guy who owns it, his name is Dean, he's a great guy, and I couldn't figure out what table I wanted in here. And I showed him pictures of the room, and he gave me 3 choices, and this was the first choice, which I just think he nailed it, and I love it. So these are just geese that I found. I think I found them on Etsy or eBay. I just love the colors. You can never have too many coffee table books, and I do read my coffee table books often. You'll see that I have a lot of food dogs in my home. Love food dogs. These are old. Those are reproductions. So I think this was not original to the house. I think they probably built this maybe in the early 70s. And I love how it steps down, and then it has these windows, which we kept these windows. We took this room down to the studs because we love the original paneling and trim work, but it just was basically rotting. So we had somebody come and hand make custom this trim work for us. And then we kept these windows, which I just loved. So then I found these shelf sconces and these food dogs because it needed something fun up there. But this is one of my favorite parts of this room are these windows. And so then in here, I use this Casablanca fabric that a lot of my window treatments were designed by Elizabeth Graves and Jennifer Manziotti of Checks and Balances. But I think they're beautiful how they designed these. Again, the West Georgia artist who made these lamps. These are by the Ozarbri, who is the same designer who created the wallpaper in the foyer. So I just used her wallpaper and for these lamps, which I love. And they work so well with the Tony Swarthouse painting, which is above my sofa. Who's a gallery artist. This is by Dunes and Duchess. Stacy made this for me, as well as I have a drink table similar in the same color. I found this at a antique shop in town, and I love always having boxes or containers on my coffee table where I can hide my remote controls. So this is nice to have that. And this is probably one of my favorite pieces. It's this was my grandmother's, my grandparents who lived in Charlotte. So every time I would arrive in their home in Charlotte, the first thing I would do to run into their house and turn around the flower the other way. I love playing with this. So that's just kind of a special thing that reminds me of my childhood and happy times with my grandparents in Charlotte. This is a bronze dolphin umbrella stand, but I love the dolphin motif, and I have that throughout the house. I've always loved dolphins. One of my best friends growing up, her mother first of all, she had a gorgeous house in South Carolina where I'm from, and her kitchen breakfast table had a dolphin base, and I remember just loving it my whole life. And she had some other ones. I just have always fallen in love with it ever since. If someone is trying to build their art collection, the best thing they can do is just go around to art galleries, art fairs, and really just see what resonates with them. And when you see something that you love, buy it if you can afford it. And it'll be fun to watch how your styles will change over the years, and that's great. I mean, some people start out with just real traditional landscapes and they eventually move to pure abstracts. But the beauty of that is your art collection has different genres in it, which makes it interesting. I mean, I love mixing old with new, traditional with edgy. The only thing that I don't have in my art collection is I don't want anything that's dark or makes a statement. That's not what appeals to me, and I don't want that in my home, but for some people they do, and that's wonderful. So just, there should be no rules. It's what you really want, and it helps to define your personality and how your personality changes over the years. Okay, so next we'll go into my son's room. Very simple, he loves it. I have the Caleb Mahoney painting, works on paper framed. Gramercy Home did all of my bedding, which I just love everything they did. And in here, I use the Peter Dunham wallpaper. My son has always asked me not to put art in his room. He says, Mom, my room is not an art gallery, but he has not commented on these Caleb paintings that I put in his room, which means that he likes it. That's a good sign, I guess. He said, let's go see my daughter's room. But first, we're passing by this little vignette that I created because as I walk down our stairs, I see this every morning. And so it just kind of goes to show how there's always places for art everywhere. This was my, in my home growing up, so I love the little zebra. But again, just more art to see. These I just picked up I was in Morocco in May and picked up these little trinkets, which I love. It reminds me of Morocco. This is by Aaron Clark, which is just a happy painting that I get to see every morning when I walk downstairs. This is to my daughter's room, and there used to not be a wall here, so you would just walk through her bedroom, but we had to create a wall and have this hallway. And so when we did that, her bedroom became a lot smaller. So what I did is decided to make all of her everything built in, so no other furniture besides her bed and this bench. And the starting point here was Farrow & Ball Colloon. I love this purple color that she loved, and she chose this, the wallpaper. And Tilton Fenwick fabric here. I love out here, she has these French doors, so she can open up to the background outside, which is so nice. So in here, again, I love this wallpaper by Lee Rutledge, another painting by Erin McIntosh, and again, brought this Colloon in here as well. Sarah Quinn is a lot more particular of how her room is decorated, and she wants less color. She wanted the blue and the white. She didn't want a lot of art, but she's more particular than my son is. She loved her new, Gramercy Home did her monogram tiles, which she does love. She's always been kind of scared of the dark, so I bought this for her when she was probably about her age, maybe 10 years old. So I love that little painting that I've hanging by her door. I think what gives a home a soul is having things that really mean things to the owners and the people that live there. Whether that's, a piece of pottery that my son or daughter made when they were 6 years old, or a family heirloom that's been passed down from my great-grandparents, or a painting that I bought in a trip when I was with Mike and just a wonderful time in our life. just all the things that I really love. So let's head upstairs to our primary suite. So upstairs is our primary suite, and I love that we have the upstairs space all to ourselves. So next, let's walk into our bedroom. So this was a really fun room for me to decorate because I wanted it to be, a lot of people want restful bedrooms, and I want it to be more showing our personality, be a little more energetic, but it's still restful to me. I started with the wallpaper. You can see the palms, Casa by PC. I love her palms with the third eye in the middle. And it mixed well with this art by Amy Wright, our Australian artist. So this is my husband's dressing room where he's very neat. So he has his own space, which is great. And we added this grass cloth to just kind of warm it up. And this is where Jean-Pierre sleeps every night, right next to him. So then we'll walk to my side. We're both huge readers, so I do sit in these chairs a lot and read a book. And then these are by Coley Home. Great little side tables. Gramercy has great lamps. Mike has asked a few times, when is there too much wallpaper in a home? And I always say never. So I think that's his nice way of saying that he feels like we've overloaded in that area. He also was not crazy about having a pink bedroom, but I said it's not pink, it's actually more coral, and it has lots of blue. So he kind of goes with the flow. He's a great gardener, so he does the outside, which we'll show you in a little while, and I do the inside. So it's a good compromise in that way. Then we'll go into my dressing room. Okay, welcome to my dressing room. This is one of my favorite spaces in our home. And it's really more than my dressing room. I mean, I use it a lot of times. I'll sit here and work at the desk, which is a beautiful desk made by Dunes and Dutches. And I just gave her my paint color, and she made this for me and my candelabra. And the starting point for this room was actually the wallpaper by Victoria Larson. It's called Sardinia, and I just saw it and loved it. And this room, the angles in this room were just screaming for wallpaper. And it's nice that everything is behind closed doors, my shoe racks. Obviously, I needed a place to put my hanging clothes, but I didn't want this space to ever look messy. So I love that these are created so that I could hide all that. Because when I'm in here, it doesn't matter if it's messy behind all the doors and the fabric, it can still be a very restful space. And one of the things up here that I love is that the doors open up to this little balcony. And so you can just see outside and how pretty it is outside. So sometimes I keep the door open. And this is our primary bathroom, which we added these windows, so it's so nice to kind of look out and be able to see the beautiful trees. And I love just adding in a rug to warm up this space and this old rattan piece. And there's always places for art in your bathrooms as well. I usually put my art in bathrooms behind glass, so it's great to do works on paper behind glass to make sure it's protected. It's very important that we have separate vanities because he's very neat and I'm not. Now let's go see our little guest house out back. So my number one goal for this guest house was for it to be a very happy spot. And I started with this wallpaper by Maisie Path that is the happiest wallpaper I've ever seen. I love it. And found these lampshades from Maison Maison and this Mally Scott fabric. I made this ottoman out of her fabric. And it's just a great little house. It's just made for one or two. This sofa opens up to a bed. And we decided to have a sleepless sofa so that sometimes the kids could be out here watching TV and not have a bed in here. So that's worked out well. And I love that it has this little porch. You can sit out and look over our gardens, which I'll show you next. So this garden was created by my husband. He spent a lot of time designing this, and we spent a lot of time out here, especially on Sunday evenings by the fish pond with the music playing, and it's just been a wonderful spot to be outside. And luckily, again, in Atlanta, we can use it for many of the months of the year. And when it gets a little chilly, we have a fire pit over there that we sit around. And it's just so nice being outside, surrounded by trees and birds, and it's just a happy, good spot. Home for me is being with my family and friends. I love to entertain and to have everyone come over and just be together and have a great time and relax and feel comfortable. And this home, especially since that is our empty nest home, it's a place where I want my kids to come to and for them to one day bring their kids to, and it just to be a happy place for all the Irbys.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.